Hi everyone, Joe March here, also known as Psycho Sorcerer, and today we're talking about Easter, as is shown by the... Whoa, what the fuck is on my screen? Okay, I didn't realize the bunny was that creepy, but whatever. You know, we get what we get and we don't throw a fit, as Daniel Tiger taught us all a long time ago. So, in the past year, I talked about Thanksgiving and how the AI thinks it's a dark ritual. And then we talked about Christmas and how the AI thinks it's a dark ritual. So, does the AI think that Easter is a dark ritual? We're going to find out today. We're also going to talk about how people always try to attribute Easter and Ishtar for some reason. And we're going to talk about pagan roots and all that good stuff. And how are we going to talk about it? By watching and making fun of videos. Let's do this!
The shocking pagan origins of Easter eggs. I bet you didn't know that Easter eggs have nothing to do with the resurrection of Jesus.
What?
In fact, these colourful symbols of new life are rooted in ancient pagan rituals.
No.
The egg has been a symbol of fertility and rebirth for centuries.
Hold on a second. You're telling me that rabbits that fuck all the time and eggs which are produced from fucking have something to do with fertility? You're blowing my mind.
Before Easter was even a thing. Ancient cultures, including the Egyptians and Persians, used eggs in springtime festivals to honor the Earth's fertility and the return of life after winter. Fast forward to medieval Europe, where eggs were banned during Lent, so people would boil and decorate them to preserve them for Easter.
Hey, there you go.
This tradition has nothing to do with Jesus. It's a direct link to pagan beliefs about the renewal of nature. So, here's the truth. Easter eggs are a pagan symbol hijacked by Christianity. Does that change how you see the holiday?
No.
Let me know in the comments. Hit like if this shocked you, and subscribe for more eye-opening history.
Hit like if it shocked you that eggs and rabbits represent fertility. I mean, I guess when I was younger, I didn't pick that up, but it's pretty obvious when you think about it.
Did you know that Easter is actually a festival of pagan origin?
Yes.
Easter was originally the...
Now listen, I did know that it's originally a pagan festival of fertility, but a lot of people get it wrong what it actually represented. And this looks like it's going to be one of those videos. Let's find out.
Celebration of Ishtar,
nope,
Babylonian
wrong.
Goddess of fertility, and the symbols of the egg and the rabbit were also symbols of fertility.
Okay.
Or at least that's what many on the internet claim. However, it isn't true.
Oh, okay,
Easter
good,
is traditionally
good.
called Pascha, which originates from the Jewish festival of Passover, which is celebrated at a similar time of year. Which is why this is the root of the name for Easter in many Latin-based languages, such as French, Spanish, and Italian. Ishtar has no connection to Easter whatsoever.
That's true.
It is also claimed that Easter was originally a festival.
Now, every year around Easter, we get a ton of videos that come out where people are like, Ishtar and Easter, they almost sound the same because they are the same. This is what the pagans who worshipped Ishtar and the eggs. And, like, you know, none of that is correct. I don't know where this started. It's like a meme that just kept spreading, and then people forgot it was a meme or never realized and just continued propagating it. So this guy is right. It has nothing to do with Ishtar, but it is pagan in its origins as a fertility festival type of thing, you know, with bunnies and eggs and all that stuff.
Dedicated to the Anglo-Saxon goddess Eostre. However,
Right.
we only have one reference for this, and it's from the great writer the Venerable Bede, who claims that the Anglo-Saxon month of Ostaramannath was named after the goddess Eostre. And he claims that in this month, many feasts were celebrated in honor of the goddess. There is no other concrete evidence whatsoever of the goddess Eostre, and some historians think that Bede may have just made her up. Did you know that Easter is...
Right, so we don't actually know of any particular goddess that is worshipped through Easter. Anytime you see things about that, this is just people coming up with their own headcanon. What we do know is that people used eggs and rabbits as symbols of fertility. That's pretty much it.
This is pure pagan sun god worship.
What
He
is?
sacrificed infant babies.
What?
Here in this cave.
In this
time of the
cave?
Child Mass. Now it's called Christ Mass. I guess it's been changed a little bit somehow, but
What?
it is all Babylonian sun god worship that I'm explaining.
Okay,
Now,
explain it.
what happens with the at the time of the reincarnation of Easter, Then what we have
There's a
are
reincarnation
the
of
pagan
Easter?
priest, the Canaanite priest, who would impregnate virgins on the altar of Easter right here in this cave.
Damn,
And
that's
then
a sight.
A year later, when those babies are 3 months old, they sacrifice those 3-month-old infants, and then they would dye the eggs of Easter in the blood of sacrificed infants.
What?
This is pure pagan sun god worship.
Okay.
They sacrif-
I mean, I've never heard that anywhere before, but all right, bro.
I've always been fascinated by the stories behind Easter.
Yeah.
The way it's celebrated with such joy and resurrection.
What do you mean
But what if
resurrection?
everything we thought we knew
Joy and resurrection. The only thing that makes Easter about resurrection is the Christian story. But AI doesn't understand that. It's just like, I always see resurrection. It's celebrated with joy and resurrection. What does that mean? You mean joy and erection? Because I understand that.
was a lie? What if beneath the sweetness of chocolate and the brightness of lilies, there pulsed something far older and far more
It's
disturbing?
Voldemort!
Imagine standing
found him,
beneath
guys.
the black sky, offering blood to forces you could not name, merely to
Why do they
survive the
keep-
turning of the seasons. The land demanded death, and it received it. I feel a chill run down.
The land doesn't demand debt. So, okay, let's explain this right here and now. In the past, people cared a lot about the Wheel of Time. And by that, I don't mean like the book series. I mean the seasons. You got spring, you got summer, you got fall, you got winter. The fact that I have to pause and think about this just shows my age. But you get the 4 seasons, they go around. And stories about us and about the world are represented within that. Like, new life comes to exist in the spring, just like how stuff grows out of the ground. Things come back. Animals start to show up, like rabbits, in the spring. And mating happens with a lot of animals in the spring, and with a lot of humans. And so if you had a big celebration about the start of the spring, that's what it would be like, right? It's a fertility festival, because the world is becoming fertile again. That is the birth, the start, the new fertility, the changing of roles into some other role, like maybe becoming a mother or a father. And then that progresses into the summer, which progresses into the fall, and eventually to the winter, which represents the death, the end, the changing of cycles, the transformation, etc., where nothing is growing anymore, and you have to survive if you're going to make something new again next spring. So there's this whole story that gets told by the wheel. And pagan peoples of all different places and all different nations understood this in a very spiritual way and had festivals which have now been merged together after people started to interact with each other and trade stuff about what they did. And some of that is what has eventually led us to Easter. All this stuff about there was a child sacrifice on Easter. Maybe some culture did that somewhere, but that's not the origins of Easter. That's just fear porn that gets added on top. And that's also all the stuff that's like, hey, Ishtar is the goddess of Easter is also bullshit. That's just a meme that got out of hand a few years ago, and now everybody fucking spreads it online for some reason. So it's just what I explained, and that's pretty much it. But let's see where we're going with this, because this is exactly what I signed up for.
Down my spine as I think about the ancient people who lived in fear of the changing seasons. The egg and
They
the
weren't in fear of the changing seasons. They knew that fertility was coming in the spring. That's why this festival was what it was. They didn't think they caused it to happen by killing shit. That doesn't even make any sense.
hair, symbols of fertility and rebirth. But what if they were originally omens, signs of something entombed, waiting to hatch something old? I wonder what other
like
secrets
Cthulhu?
lie hidden behind these seemingly innocent symbols. The early church didn't erase the rites of the equinox, it baptized them. It placed Christ's resurrection precisely where Marduk's chaos rites once stood. I'm struck by how
Marduk's
the old
chaos rites. Have you read the story of Marduk, aka Marduk, who battled against Tiamat, the dragon of chaos, and brought order to the planet? Whatever, sure, he's a chaos god now.
rituals were absorbed into the new faith and how the symbols were rebranded? We pretend that Easter is just a time for candy and joy, but the symbols remain.
We don't pretend anything. We buy candy and have joy. It's a new ritual. Like you're not tied to whatever the past is just because you have some similarities to it. If what you do in your time is have fun and enjoy candy, and that's what Easter is to you. That is what Easter is to you. There's not a secret level to it at that point. This stuff is always written in this way. I don't know if it's written or if the AI makes it up or what, but like it's written in this way that's like, if you ever do something that someone else has done where they they meant something else, then you mean that. And it's like, that's not how humans work, bro.
They paint them red, not for joy, but to mimic the blood that must be spilled.
Also, we don't paint eggs red. Like, some eggs might be red. We paint them all the colors of the rainbow. Does that mean it's secretly an LGBTQ agenda as well? Like, come on, bro.
I'm reminded that some traditions are hard to shake, and that the old ways still linger. There are whispers of silent entities outside time, watchers that intervene when mythic structure is broken.
Now you got my attention.
They do not judge, they erase. The hybrid is such a betrayal, a ripple in the fabric that holds symbols apart.
Can you imagine seeing the world this way? Like, once there was a ritual, and it could have meant bad shit happened, and now there's a different ritual, but it's tied to that ritual, so the fabric of reality is going to ripple. Like, guys, chill the fuck out, okay? As someone who practices ritual, or at least used to a lot, and now does their own other stuff, ritual only works if you're engaged in what it's supposed to mean. It's symbolic to you. So if you don't believe in a certain set of symbols or like resonate with them, they do nothing for you. You can't just accidentally fumble your way into a ritual that means something other than you intended. I mean, only if your mind wanted to do that in the first place and you were like keeping that like pressed back as part of your shadow, like that could happen. But again, that's you. That's not something from the past. That's something you secretly internally want. You can't be sidetracked and bamboozled into something that someone else's ritual means for them. That's not how ritual works.
Come to realize that some secrets are better left unspoken. The gods were never banished, they were renamed. We don't remember the rituals, but they remember us.
This music, it really sounds like he's talking about like the elder gods of H.P. Lovecraft.
I'm left with a sense of unease, wondering what still lies in wait, and what we'll uncover as we continue.
I like how it spelled it, wait. What lies in wait? Me, after I eat all that candy, that's where the wait is.
To follow the old patterns. I've always been fascinated
My God. It's exactly what I asked for. Like, I can't be too angry. This is exactly what I was like. I bet you we did the one rituals for Thanksgiving. We did the other one for Christmas. I bet they do the same stuff for Easter. Yes.
Traditionally, what many celebrate as Easter has roots far older than Christianity.
True.
It traces back to the worship of Ishtar.
It doesn't.
The so-called Queen of Heaven in ancient Babylon. Ishtar was a goddess of fertility, love, and war.
True.
Often depicted alongside Tammuz, her consort, who was later known as Adonis in Greek mythology.
Sure.
History,
I mean, that's not
same
proven.
Deity has been revered under many names across different cultures. Inanna
Theoretically.
in Sumer, Astarte in Phoenicia, Aphrodite in Greece, and Venus
that's a stretch.
in Rome. Yet despite the variations in name and form, the essence of this worship remained the same. Devotion to a false deity, far
Jesus.
removed from the worship
Wow.
of the Most High.
Rude.
And second, and more importantly, the Christian celebration of Easter has literally zero historical connection to Ishtar. Ishtar isn't even a feast or a celebration. She was a goddess of war and love.
True.
Ishtar was the protector of temple prostitutes and the patroness of the alehouse. So what does a mythical Mesopotamian warrior sex goddess have to do with the resurrection of a real historic Jewish man? The answer, of course, is nothing. There's no religious link between the two. Ancient Mesopotamian religion was polytheistic. They worshipped several primary gods and thousands of lesser gods. This is the antithesis of the monotheism of Christianity.
Sure.
There's also no symbolic connection. Ishtar's symbols weren't eggs and bunnies, but
Right.
rather the lion and the eight-pointed star.
Yep.
And they're
Oh,
not
wait.
even of the same
wait,
type.
wait.
Ishtar was a
what kind of
goddess.
star are we talking about here? This kind of star? Right. He's right. Like, as much as I don't like the fact that he's telling it in the way he's telling, he's like, look here, fellas. God is good, and these dumb pagans have nothing to do with our Easter. Like, that's annoying as shit. But everything he's saying is true.
An entity, a deity. Easter is a feast. It's a celebration and a remembrance. So there was no ancient Ishtar that evolved into Easter.
Right.
And lastly, the time frame doesn't line up. Ishtar worship had almost completely died out by 400 BC. And the commemoration of the resurrection of Jesus didn't begin until 500 years later.
Yes, but the point is that the festival isn't actually originally about that. Even I get that. Come on, man. This one's called Ishtar Doesn't Want Easter Eggs, and I was asked to review this one. Let's see how this goes.
You've reached Dial a Deity. This is Megan speaking. How may I direct your prayer? Certainly, sir. I can try and answer a question for you. How can I help?
I mean, are we just supposed to assume we know what the person is asking? Because, like, I get that if you were watching someone on a headset, you wouldn't hear what was on the other side, and we can, like, interpret it from that, but couldn't you, like, come in after the fact, after you record this, and do, like, a second voice for what the person was saying, keep us all clued in? I mean, I would do it that way. Well, let's continue. Let's see where this is going.
Okay, I see. I'm just going to repeat the question back and make sure I fully understand what it is you're asking.
So you wouldn't have to do this part if you just overlaid the question.
You want to make an Easter offering for the goddess Ishtar.
Fuck yeah!
Put your hands on some eggs, and you want to know if you have to dip them in the blood of infants or if you can dip them in something else. Is that right?
Oh, you dip them in something else. You know what I'm talking about?
Okay, I'm glad we're on the same page. I don't actually know where this story has come from.
I had thought that I should do the other part myself and add it in here on top of this. We'll get to that in a minute.
Ishtar is not associated in any way with the Easter holiday. No, yes, no, her name is definitely pronounced Ishtar. No, not a hard S. Yeah, no connotation, no association at all. Also, no real interest in eggs. No, and definitely not associated with human sacrifice, infants or otherwise.
Yeah, I'm definitely okay.
Where-
Now, I agree with what's being said here, but I'm definitely gonna do the other side of the conversation. We're gonna make it like she is talking to me, and I'm gonna be the dude that she's talking to. So we'll be right back with that. I'm gonna watch this video, write my lines, and then come back.
You've reached Dial a Deity. This is Megan speaking. How may I direct your prayer?
Yeah, I got a question.
Certainly, sir. I can try and answer a question for you. How can I help?
I want to bang Ishtar, and I know she likes Easter eggs. Wafos. Does she want me dipping them eggs in infant blood or something else?
I see. I'm just going to repeat the question back and make sure I really understand what it is you're asking.
You know.
You want to make an Easter offering for the goddess Ishtar. You've got your hands on some eggs.
Yeah, baby.
You want to know if you have to dip them in the blood of infants or if you can dip them in something else. Is that right?
Fuck yeah.
Okay, I'm glad we're on the same page.
We are.
I don't actually know where this story has come from. Ishtar is not associated in any way with the Easter holiday.
Ain't it her name?
No.
Like Easter? You know,
No, her name is
Easter.
definitely pronounced Ishtar.
Hard ass.
No, not a hard S. Yeah, no connotation, no association at all. Also, no real interest in eggs.
Does she like to fuck like rabbits?
And
you know, like
definitely not associated with human sacrifice.
That's not what I meant.
Or otherwise.
Look, where'd the story come from?
Where did that story come from? I truly have no idea, sir. I do blame the internet.
Like YouTube?
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
It possibly predates the internet. I haven't actually been able to track down a source for that one.
YouTube does?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, that's not the origin of Easter eggs.
Right. Okay, I guess.
Oh, I'm glad I could put your mind at ease, sir.
So no eggs?
No. Eggs are a perfectly fine sacrifice.
How about these eggs?
Yes, Mesopotamian deities do like a good food offering, so eggs would be fine.
How about
I don't know
raw?
if she has a particular preference in terms of how they're cooked.
Yeah! Raw.
Honestly, sir, I would just go with your personal favourite.
You know it.
That usually works for me.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't know why that character was as lecherous as I came up with him to be, but I hope you guys enjoyed that piece of cinema that was just provided for you. And let's see what else we got cooking.
Forget what you've been told. Because the Easter Bunny isn't cute. It isn't
What?
cheerful.
I mean,
and
that's
it
pretty
wasn't
cute to
made
me,
for
but I got a
children.
weird sense of what I find adorable.
Long before pastel eggs and chocolate bunnies, there was something much older, much darker. Historians trace the rabbit symbolism to pagan Europe, where it was worshipped as a servant of the goddess Eostre, a fertility deity tied to the spring equinox. But some carvings suggest she wasn't
Is
alone.
there actually a carving that looks like this somewhere? Because I want to see that shit. That's wild.
The moon hare, a horned humanoid creature
He has no
with
horns.
rabbit-like features.
Try
said to
again.
walk
Like,
on two
you know you can do multiple passes at an AI, right? Like you can, if you get the image back and the horns aren't there, you can try again. Be like, make me two more, make me two more. You know, like, you don't have to just take the first thing the AI spits out.
legs and demand offerings in exchange for a fertile harvest. What kind of offerings? Blood, often. The blood of a child.
Why was the blood... Hold on, let's look at this sword again. How did this happen? The tip is pristinely clean. The edge barely hurt. Did he cut himself down here? And then it dripped up the blade? Is it like one of those prop blades where the blood goes along the thing? You know, like, how did this happen? How did this blood line happen? And how come it's oozing around here and here specifically? And how come it's oozing off the hilt? I don't see no blood anywhere else on this hilt. This is just like a blood sword that produces blood. I might add this weapon to my D&D games, guys.
The blood of a child. Every
Jesus,
spring.
look at this guy.
Community.
Now, I understand that some kids are dumb, right? But this is not the face you have when this is happening. Come on, guys.
Communities would hold egg festivals. Not for fun, but to mark sacrifices. Eggs symbolized life. But they had to be painted red to represent blood already
Did they?
spilled.
I want
By
some
the 1800s,
citation on
the
where they're
bear
getting
was
this from.
repackaged. A friendly rabbit who delivered candy.
He doesn't look any more friendly here. If anything, this one looks scarier to me because he has a business suit on, which tells me he also takes advantage of the poor.
Started in Germany, but the origins were always the same.
Look at this house. Can you imagine if you lived here? That's baller.
The bunny visits your home while you sleep and takes something in return.
What?
Every year, the stories pile up. Eggs appearing in places no one placed them.
Okay, look. I hate to say it, but I kind of like this story better than any of the other Easter stories. Now, I don't know where the fuck it's coming from, but my God, can we do a horror Easter thing? Is that a thing? Is that my next year Easter show is going to be like, let's do a horror themed Easter? Now I got ideas, guys.
Children who swear they saw the real bunny.
Oh my
tall,
God.
Silent.
I
with
love
human
it.
Hands and teeth too sharp to smile. So this Easter,
Teeth too sharp to smile? How does that even work? Because your mouth is like if you ever see a skeleton with where it's just the teeth, it looks like a smile naturally. So how are they too sharp to smile? Are they like snaggly ass teeth? Like, what are we talking about?
when you see the decorations, the ears, the eggs, the grin, ask yourself,
So his teeth are too sharp to smile, but he still has a fucking grin? How the fuck does that work? Is he like an imperceptible monster like Cthulhu?
what are we really celebrating? And what's coming through your door when you're asleep?
Ooh, there we go. We need this to be a movie immediately. That's what I think. Like, I want this. I don't want it to be a B movie, because I know we could do that. Some guy in a bunny costume goes and murders people. I would watch that too. Don't get me wrong. But we need a version of this that's like serious. Like some director, like the guy who just made the last Nosferatu movie or some shit, comes and makes this shit with the bunny. And then you put Lovecraftian themes in it. And I kind of want this to exist in the world now as a film franchise. And look at this picture where he's got like the extra arm coming off his back for no reason. You know, they say AI isn't creative, but look at this shit.
Star, very similar to Easter, isn't it? And her title is the Queen of Heaven. And this is something we also
Words sometimes sound like other words, don't it?
see in Scripture in Jeremiah in chapter 7, verse 18. The children gather wood, the fathers kindle a fire, and the women knead dough to make cakes for the Queen of Heaven.
Sure.
And they pour out drink offerings to other gods that they may provoke me to anger. We also see it in Jeremiah chapter 44 as well. So the Queen of Heaven there in Jeremiah 7 is a reference to Ishtar.
Sure,
That is
possibly.
what it is talking about. This is how these things came about. It has its origins in Babylon, but then it's repackaged into other civilizations and other religions. They have their own version, their own gods, but what they are is simply different names for...
Interesting, right? Isn't it interesting how the things that ancient peoples believed and had traditions for end up being changed over time and shared across cultures, and then they morph into something else, and then that eventually becomes the new way of that's a very interesting thing he just pointed out. Is it possible that Easter isn't some secret cult thing, and that it's just something that has continued to change and evolve from tradition to tradition across time, and now we have modern Easter as a result of that, just like every fucking thing else? And is it possible that the religion that this guy probably believes in is also a result of that kind of same evolution, but we just don't like to think of it that way because it gets rid of the whole divinity of it all? It gets rid of the idea that one is right and the others were wrong? Interesting thought experiment if you want to think about it.
for the same thing. When the Catholics call Mary the Queen of Heaven, they're not talking about Mary, they're talking about Ishtar, the Babylonian goddess of fertility.
Are they? I mean, see, this is the thing. When he wants the two to be conflated with each other, then they are. And when he doesn't want it, then they aren't. Because he can't accept that whatever his beliefs is, again, I don't know who this guy is, but I assume he has some kind of alt-Christianity belief. He can't accept that his belief is just an offshoot of this continuing change that's happening across this religion, which originated as other religions before it. Because then he's got to accept that these are just his concepts and his understandings of the world around him, as opposed to some definite truth. Right? But at the same time, everybody else that's not him is blind to the fact that when they do that, they're actually worshiping stuff that people from the past tricked them into believing. That doesn't make any sense. We're all like artists, like creative people who have been inspired by artists from before us, and we can create based on that. And we can try to create what we think is the perfect representation of something that came before, or we can create something new, but no matter what we do, it's inspired by the creations of the past in some way, shape, or form, and it is a transformation of that. And I know most people hate to think of it that way, but that's just how life is.
Now, how did all this paganism become associated with the death and resurrection of Christ? What has all this paganism got to do with the death and resurrection of Christ?
I feel like I already explained the answer to that question.
Enough! You turn a holy remembrance into a festival of idols and trinkets. And you, draped as a hare, leading them astray. Leave.
Hey, it's just for fun!
And that forgets the truth. Out. Let your heart seek the risen one, not hollow eggs.
Oh my god, he just kicked the shit out of me. He's like,
No.
hey, little
You turn a
girl,
holy remembrance
you
into
about to do
festival
a
of
dark
idols and
ritual.
trinkets.
Kick that shit.
Draped as
You
a hare,
can't have
leading
that
them
candy,
astray.
child.
Leave.
This rabbit
Hey,
is
it's just for
evil.
fun.
Fun that forgets the truth. Out. Let
You gotta love this AI-generated world we live in. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have to celebrate Easter together today, folks. But if you want to hear more from me, there's definitely more videos for you to watch if you're avoiding your family on Easter. And if you're not, have a happy Easter. And if you're watching this after Easter, have a happy after Easter. Because you know what? You don't have just holidays that you should be happy on. So go out and do something fun. And until next time, safe travels.